I'm Pastor Henry Hildebrandt. Let's start with some excellent news here this afternoon. Just heard the announcement that Ontario is opening up the churches fully. Not a percentage, not 15, not 25, but fully. That's the way it should be. Thank God for that. We're looking forward to that. We're actually very much looking forward to the sheriff giving us a call. I'm not sure how they're going to go about it. Him giving us a call telling us that they're bringing our locks back to our meeting house so we can unlock that right after the 16th as soon as things open up so we can be back in our meeting house. Our children will be so extremely excited being able to go back to their library so we can use our restrooms again and everything. That'll be excellent. Mind you, we don't all fit in the auditorium, but we'll find a way how to do it. We'll see what we need to do, but this is good news, not just for us, but right across the province. This will be good news for many, many people. We are very thankful for that. As in the past 18 months, I have often felt, or maybe I could say that has been my main burden, is to raise awareness. So this week the announcement was made that we now passed the 4 million mark. Over 4 million people have now died, as they say, of COVID-19. Now the information that I'm giving you here this afternoon is something that is not just for me to look at. This is public information. You go on the site of Worldometer, I believe it's called, and look at the latest stats, and you will see that's where the numbers are. So they said we have just passed the 4 million mark. When you hear the number, that sounds awful, doesn't it? Over 4 million people would have died. And like I said in the past, every death is tragic, basically. Although we should remember as Christians, death is not always a tragic thing. Psalms, I believe 116 says, precious is the death of the saints in God's eyes. So it's not always tragic, but generally speaking, death is tragic. So we would say 4 million people have died. That's a lot. Let's look at it a little closer here, and let's look at the information, and let's see what are we actually dealing with here. So the world population right now is 7,878 million. So that's like 7,878 million people. Okay, that's actually a lot of people. So we look at it and we wonder, okay, what percentage would that be? So what percentage of the world's population have died in this terrible pandemic, in this emergency that we have suffered under for a year and a half now, a little more than a year and a half? What percentage would that be? Did 10% of the population die? Did 8%? 5%? No. Did 4%? No. 3? 2? Did 1% of the general population die? No. Did 0.5% of the population die? No, not even close. So if you look at it, take the time, do the calculation. So 4 million people have died in this so-called pandemic. Of the general population, of the world population. That is 1 person out of 2,000, or 10 people out of 20,000. For those of you that know the town of Elmer, that would be like if 4 people have died in the last year and a half in the town of Elmer of this pandemic. So what is happening? Look at the stats, look at the website that I gave you, and keep looking at it. So we look at people that have died of hunger. Just in the last 6 months, just this year, 2021, people that have died of hunger, 5,781,000. Children under 5, 3,929,000, almost 4 million children under 5 have died. And they said all along that the coronavirus hasn't really affected the children, so they died of something. Cancer. People have died of cancer just in the last 6 months, just in the year 2021. The stats show that 4,245,000 have died of cancer. So more people have died in the last 6 months of cancer than people have died of COVID in the last 18 months. It's extremely important that we understand this because there is an agenda. There's an agenda. All we hear every day is COVID, COVID, COVID. People have died. You know why they do that? It's fear-mongering. It's to drive the fear into people. Now, just because of smoking and alcohol, 3,800,000 people have died because of smoking and alcohol. So how come we don't hear a single word about it? How come we don't hear about the people that have died of cancer? What is happening? What is happening? Why would that be? Why is that not mentioned at all? We know what's in the past. We know what's in the past. We don't know what's ahead of us. Okay? So why do we look back now and we see in 18 months, this is what happens. And you might say, Pastor, but look what's ahead of us. There's variants. There's Delta. I don't know what other names they're going to come up with. I don't know what they're going to do. But we know the past 18 months. We know what they told us at the beginning. We know what they told us 2 weeks later. We know what they told us 2 months later. And we know that we have now 18 months have now passed. And now we wonder, okay, so where are things now? This is where things are now. And that's why it is important that we raise awareness to that and that we realize this must be said. We must be made aware. Yes, 4 million people, like they said. And even though we know that they said many people that died, they say, oh, they died of COVID. If they had other sicknesses, but if COVID was involved, like they said, they would say, okay, this person died of COVID as well. But even if we take their numbers, even if we take their exaggerated numbers, we still find out that they are leaving all these other things out, not telling us about those things. They don't even really want us to know, and they don't really want us to compare that. That's what we're saying, is there's an agenda behind this. There's something else. It's not about COVID-19. Wish you a wonderful day. God bless you.